What's so funny?
They put this in front of you.
We're gonna get started. All right. Yep. Let's get started. We're supposed to start minutes ago, and I hate being late. Good evening and welcome to the Ordinance Committee meeting. Today is Tuesday, December 10th, 2024. Voting members are here. Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Councilor Del Rosario.
Present.
Councilor Santiago.
Present.
Chair LaPlante.
Present. Pursuant to Chapter 20 of the Acts of 2022, this meeting of the Ordinance Committee is being conducted both in person and via remote participation. Reminder that persons who would like to listen to view this meeting while in progress may either attend in person or access us at the Facebook Lawrence City Council page or the YouTube Lawrence City Council page. Would you all please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thanks, everyone. As is customary in this committee, we like to take city councilors who are here out of order, and then we go right then to city employees who have been here since 8:30 this morning and try to get them out of here if we can. And then we do go in order as well for people who are here. So if you're here this evening, thank you so much. We will definitely take your item out of order and near the top. So with that, if there's no objections, the council president is here. He's got two items. We're just going to go in the order that I see them. The first one is, if there's no objection, 57624, the Adopt a Citywide Speed Hump Program. Council President.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, for the Ordinance Committee, councilors. Thank you for allowing me to speak on these two items that I have in front of the committee. The first item, which is the item 57624, is an ordinance to establish a citywide speed bump installation program. The speed humps are quite a little different than what we used to have before. Is the speed reductions, speed calming solution that actually are built within the road within a specific slope and in a specific measurement according to the MUTCD and according to the specific design as the city would like to adopt. This ordinance is to establish and enhance traffic calming measurement to improve public safety, reduce the speed in some areas, and protect pedestrians, cyclists, and motorists. Those speed humps are, like I mentioned before, different than what we used to have in the past, and this is to establish some type of program ordinance to allow the city of Lawrence to install those as per it might be required or a requirement for us to have it. Obviously, once this ordinance goes over, it needs to be to establish the speed humps. It needs to be in compliance with the MUTCD, which is the Manual of Uniform Traffic Control Devices and engineering standards that is to be established by the city. The scope and implementation, we have series of criteria that need to be taken into consideration before the city decide to adopt or to install any speed humps on any specific area. This is a general ordinance for the entire city of Lawrence, and the city will determine where to install each of those based on a specific criteria, incident, amount of traffic, incident happened in a specific area, amount of traffic or traffic data that is going to be provided by those that take that data, perhaps the police department and any other departments that believe that it is for the benefit of those data are going to provide information enough or enough information to be able to install any speed humps on any particular area. There is some public notifications that are as part of the scope and the implementation that need to take place. Also, there is a funding mechanisms that need to be added every year to the specific budget, perhaps the DPW budget, to maintain and also to allow this program to continue and be successful. And also there is a priority locations throughout the city that are prioritizing a specific area, perhaps near schools, near park, and document the history of speeding on specific areas. I would like this committee to analyze this potential ordinance, and be able to discuss it and potentially be approved after a public hearing has been posted.
Sure, great. Any questions or comments for the petitioner? Councilman Del Rosario.
Thank you, through you, Chair. Costs and is the city engineer involved in this ordinance? What do you have to say when, does he have an input to it, or?
I quickly show it to them, not going in details about that. As you know, I'm an engineer by trade. I put this design together based on previous design that I have seen in other locations. And it's a great amount of money that the city have saved just on the design itself. As you can see, as part of the package, the location, the markings, the engineering criteria are being defined as part of the ordinance with the specific slope that varies based on the locations. And they are willing to look into it for sure. This is the desire of the city, of the ordinance committee, is to send it up to the engineering department. That's fine. We can if the committee decide to send it up pending that information, to send it up to the full council pending this information. That's also something that I highly appreciate, since we have put a lot of work on this specific program, and we like to see its success.
I mean, that's my opinion. I think we should hear what the engineer have to say, because I've been overhearing that they have an idea of speed bumps or speed humps coming up. I don't know when, but that's what I've been overhearing. That's why they took out the other ones, the temporary ones, because it's cost the city a lot of money to have in place for a couple of months, and they release them or take them away. And they are looking into integrate those. I don't know if it's a speed bump or speed humps, how you call it, but and that's what I've been hearing. So those conversations are not around. So wondering if the engineering department or engineer has something in plan already.
Essentially, yes, they do have something in plan, but that the legislation portion of any type of installation on the street and on the street right away need to be approved by the city council. And essentially, what we provide in the departments, whether they're going to install speed humps or speed bumps, is that the legality of the programs to be able to take place. Essentially, if we don't have something in place, technically they're not supposed to have it, or the city is not supposed to have it.
But
and
if
that's
we
what we
approve,
have done in the past. But it is something that we need. If it is wrong, correct it, and the ordinance is not going to do anything else than just make sure that we do it correctly.
through you, Chair, and I understand, but if we somehow approve a speed humps and what they have in mind is a speed bumps, so do we change the ordinance? Do we come back? And that's why I'm saying that we should at least have a conversation with them to see what they have in mind before we place any ordinance when it comes to that. I like it, and looking forward to get something like that placed in the city. It will help tremendously. But if we move this forward and approve a speed humps, and then what they have in mind or design of maybe looking for money to do a speed bumps, how do we proceed with that?
Essentially, Councilor, what this is going to do is something different than the speed humps. The speed humps and the speed bumps are different. And if we're going to do the speed bumps like we used to have, they have to have another set of regulations. That it's going to be similar when it comes to the criteria of installation, but when it comes to the speed calming itself, you have to have another set of criteria. This is not going to change one or another because they are different when it comes to how wide they are, how the slope take place, because this is a permanent structure on the road. The other ones, the speed bumps, they are temporary structure. They cannot stay during the winter. So if that's going to take place and we want to have an ordinance for that specifically, it have nothing to do with the speed humps. It's different. So having one or another, I think that we have to have two set of ordinance that allow both.
What's that? Clerk, will you please call the roll for Vice Chair Reyes?
Councilor Reyes, please. Councilor Reyes, please.
I can see that she's here with us, but we will check in with her in a little bit when we do a roll call. Anybody else wish to speak on this item? Mr. Hooton, would you care to speak on this item?
Yes.
Go ahead.
I've been asked to review this. As with any ordinance, I speak neither in favor nor against it, but I look at the legality of it. First thing that I notice is that three of the most important parties to this ordinance are not present and have not been notified. We don't have the police, we don't have the fire, and we do not have the DPW. As you know, and I can just speak from other communities, they traditionally oppose these, being that it now reduces your time responding to fire, it reduces your time and police responding to actions, and right now the DPW can put in bumps or whatever, but they make that decision. So I would just suggest to this committee that before any decision is made, that you bring in all interested parties and have them heard from it. As far as looking over the language, I have no problem with the language, and I understand it. But this is a permanent structure. It is made of tar. This is not the plastic thing that gets picked up. So, again, for the purposes of liability of the city, I would ask that you bring in the interested parties and have a hearing regarding it, because I took the liberty of contacting all three parties, and they knew nothing of the meeting tonight. And fire chief's on vacation, police chief, et cetera. So.
I'm looking for a motion that we send those to the three departments that the city attorney just mentioned, the DPW, the police chief, the police department, and the fire department. Is there a motion
So move.
for their review? Motion been made. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilor Santiago. Any further discussion on this matter? See none. Clerk, please call the roll.
All right. Councilor Del Rosario,
Yes.
Councilor Santiago,
Yes.
Councilor Reyes, Chair LaPlante.
Yes. Chair Reyes, can you hear us, Vice Chair Reyes? Vice Chair Reyes, can you hear us? If you hear us, we're unable to hear you. I think she can hear us. I don't think I don't put that on. All right, motion carries to send to the full, to be, and then we're going to motion to table.
Motion to table.
Motion been made,
Second.
seconded. Clerk, please call the roll. Motion to table.
Councilor Del Rosario,
Yes.
Councilor Santiago,
Yes.
Councilor Reyes.
yes,
Thank you. Chair
we go.
LaPlante.
Yes, motion to table. Thank you, Vice Chair Reyes. The next item for the council president has before us this evening is
493.
49324. It's on page 2 of your agenda, the table business of October 1st, 2024. If there's no objection, we'll take this one out of order as well. Council President, you have the floor.
Well, we have discussed this item previously, or unofficially,
93,
to a point that for a lot of councilors, it is a need to have some type of guidance and some type of policies and criteria and procedures to be able to name or rename any particular park or any facility of from the city of Lawrence. These ordinance will bring those guidance to be able to have some type of criteria when it comes to naming and renaming any park or any facility from the city of Lawrence. The ordinance have different sections in continuation to the local ordinance that we have in place currently, which is 1224-120, and we are going to be adding the rest of these subsections to the current ordinance to establish guidance as of how to proceed and what to look for, and also have a specific criteria that any proponent for any naming or renaming had to provide to the city council in order to be able to be in compliance and continue with the desire of any applicant when it comes to naming and renaming any particular park or facility.
Is that it?
Yep.
Councilors, any comments, questions? I've got, my initial question is, this is everything to do with the city council, and I'm not seeing anywhere on there where the mayor has any involvement at all on this. Currently, the mayor has the opportunity to also provide a suggestion
Yeah.
or a recommendation. How does that fit into this?
This part is not, but section 120, it does. So the section 120 is the current ordinance that we have currently. And it established that the mayor or the city council could name any particular park. And this is basically, once the mayor or the city council or any petitioner proceed of applying for any particular naming or renaming, and then this is the guidance as of what need to happen after the fact. So in section 120, I don't have it in front of me right now.
Yeah, familiar.
But as far as I recollect, the mayor and the city council could request, but only the city council will approve it. And this section right here specify furthermore as of what the city council requires for us to have any particular say on the matter.
So the mayor still has the ability to approve or disapprove as a veto or non-veto at the
He
end?
will be able to veto
Okay.
as any other measurement. But we be the body that approve it as per section 120 on the current ordinance that we have in the city of Lawrence. Section 130 of the current ordinance that we are discussing specifically state the introduction and something that is very important, that a lot of time sometimes these type of petitions come in front of us with in a specific, even political pressure, and it's specifically saying here not to pursue with that on the ordinance, because I think we think, a lot of councilors think, and the people might think that it is an easy thing to do, but doing it without any particular criteria on writing, it's a lot more challenging. So essentially, what we want to establish on these procedures is the policies and procedures, the criteria, the designation, the naming of interior features, naming and renaming procedures, if it's any, memorials and dedication, and even signature, even signage, that we've been having some issues when it comes to signs and the potential designs. Once we have any particular naming or renaming, the city council has to approve the language as of what's going to go on that sign. and that's also being taken care of in this ordinance.
And this ordinance proposal is just parks, park structures, and facilities, not corners, not squares, not anything else. It's just those three items.
Well, essentially, we
That's what
can
you have.
definitely add, I believe that within the ordinance, it's established any facility. And if that's within the definition, and then we can definitely define what one of those means. But the intent is to have everything that we currently have to be part of these criterias, including corners and any other that probably haven't been well clarified from the ordinance. Put it some space to actually change it.
Is there another city that you modeled this after?
Well, essentially, I'm not gonna try to reinvent the wheel. Obviously, I did the research and look at different cities, including New York City, including different cities and towns, including Boston, including different other locations from Massachusetts. And then after getting multiple ordinance in place, have something that work for the city of Lawrence will be essential. So it's a lot of them, but not necessarily all of them.
There's a lot here. Candidly, and clearly you've put some work, or you've looked at some other cities, you're able to mix and match and put things together. I mean, I just got this late in the day and didn't really have a chance to look at it. I'm looking at it really now, but I'm rushing through it, and this is, as you can all imagine, this is a sensitive issue for a lot of people, so I want to make sure I give it the kind of diligence that it's required. Counselors, I applaud the council president for putting something together, for putting something for our consideration. I'm not comfortable this evening voting on it, however, having just received it and really trying to get, and there's other questions I'm sure that I have. If it's okay with this committee, I want to open it up for questions. I don't want to stop that from happening or comments, but if no one has any of those, I was looking for a motion to table. Maybe we can take it up at either our next meeting or two. Does anybody else wish to speak on this item?
If there is any questions, I'm willing to respond now, and then we can proceed with that tabling, but advancing any question will be.
Sure, that's what I'm asking our colleagues for right now. Is there any questions or comments right now? If not, we can table it. if
No,
so
to you,
is.
because I'm in the same position. I haven't been able to
Okay.
actually read the whole item itself. So, I mean, again, it's something that we've been looking for, but we need to read it. So,
Yeah, sure, no problem. I mean, that's part of the process.
If there are no other comments, I'm looking for a
Motion
motion
to
to table. Motion to table, is there a second?
Second.
Motion been made and seconded. Clerk, please call the roll for a motion to table.
Counselor Celine Reyes? Counselor Reyes? Counselor Del Gorio?
yes.
Counselor Santiago?
Yes.
Chair LaPlante?
Chair votes yes. Thank you, Council President. Appreciate
Thank you.
your attendance this evening. Is there anything else on this docket? I guess not. We're all set?
We're good.
Thank you. As promised, we're going to go through and get some of these cities' employees who've been here since before 9 this morning out of here. We do have one. So we do have the ADU that's on here. I've been asked, because of the, if there's no objection, can we take document 5, 2024? If there's no objection, let's take that one up. You're here right now. What's your recommendation on this? I know there's a lot of things that are recent developments, so why don't you let us know?
Sure. This went to the Lawrence Planning Board last week, where it was affirmatively approved, sent up with a favorable recommendation. Yesterday, the state regulations were issued, which contradict or supplement a lot of the language that's in our ordinance. It's, to be fair, we're still digesting it. The city attorney, the Inspectional Services Department, myself, are all digesting it to see how it applies to the current draft of it. So at this point, I'd ask that it remain tabled.
Councilor, that makes a lot of sense to me, since we got new information that just came up in the last 24 hours. That's really important. So let's, rather than doing it twice, let's just do it once. I'm looking for, if there's,
Motion to table.
table. Motion table's been made. Is there a second? It's been properly seconded. Councilor Del Rosario making a motion to table. Councilor Santiago seconded it. Now we're going to I'm going to ask the clerk to call the roll on a motion to table.
Motion to table. Counselor Selena Reyes.
Yes.
All right, Counselor Del Gregorio.
Yes.
Counselor Santiago.
Yes.
Counselor, Chair.
Yes. Chair votes yes. We are tabling that. Thank you. So, let's move this out. Document 551, I mean, you know, we've got, I promise we're going to city employees, but I think we have got one that can go real fast. We have an old gold license. They're here. I don't think this is going to take a long time. I don't think. I think this is a fast one. If there's no objection, let's just take 55024 on page 1 out of order. Renewal of the old gold dealer license at Brothers Jewelry. Gentlemen, come forward. Mr. Grion, welcome. Let me just pull up our stuff here real fast. Got it. I want to make sure all the sign-offs are here, and if it's all here, there's probably not going to be many questions. Yeah, so the number for this is 55024. It's on page 1. It's the first item under the November 19th section, page 1. It appears, Mr. Grion, that things are signed properly. You've signed it properly, so that's a good start. I don't have any questions, but maybe my colleagues do. Is there anybody who wishes to speak on this matter or ask questions? If there are no questions,
Motion to approve?
there is a motion. Now, is there a second?
Second.
Motion made by Vice Chair Reyes, properly seconded by Councilor Del Rosario. Discussion? Seeing none, this is a motion to send up to the full council with a favorable recommendation, correct?
Yes.
Clerk, please call the roll.
Counselor Del Gregorio.
Yes.
Counselor Santiago.
Yes.
Counselor Reyes.
Yes.
Chair LaPlante.
Yes, it's going up to the full council. Our next meeting is next Tuesday,
Next Tuesday.
so you should attend.
Okay,
Great.
thank you.
See you
Have a
then.
good night. Thank
You're
you.
welcome. Good night. The next item, this is, if there's no objection, this is going to deal with the I had it a second ago. Where is it? Council parking name is, units, hold on. Oh, document 55124, right below that. That's the proposed anti-camping ordinance prohibiting unauthorized camping in public places. If there's no objection, let's take that one out so the police can get out of here. So I'll invite the police department now to come forward.
Good evening. I promise to be as brief as you'd like me to be. As you know, since the inception or since the announcement of our anti-vagrancy initiative, we have been inundated with calls for clarification, for information and the like. And one of the topics that consistently comes up is what this anti-camping ordinance, the contemplated ordinance, is going to look like. I took the liberties earlier on, and I gave everyone pretty much a copy of Lowell's anti-camping ordinance. And just for your review, again, I've indicated before, we don't have to reinvent the wheel here. There are a couple of little tidbits within this sample ordinance that I'd like to pick apart, and there's some questions on it. I'd like to tailor it more toward our community's needs, and there are some questions that I will be passing on to our city attorney, for his recommendation in that. But I just wanted to give you an idea of what it kind of looks like, and as you know, it does give us, this has survived legal scrutiny, and then this has, gives us the opportunity to enact an ordinance, and again, the council has the full authority and power to amend and add and do whatever they'd like to do with it. But I just wanted to bring that to your attention, just to give you an insight of what that might look like. We will be educating the public at large and, as to what that is. And again, we've been fielding calls, questions and the like, and so I just wanted you guys to get an idea. There are some questions that need to be asked from our legal department, which is, has to do with a duty to include a shelter and availability exception to the ordinance. I'd like to have that answered before we proceed, and we provide you with some sort of.
What was the question again? I'm sorry, I just,
So the.
just repeat it,
Lowell's,
I just didn't hear it correctly.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, it's, there is an exception to the anti-tenting ordinance, and the exception basically being that they can camp out there if there's unavailability for alternative housing. And that in there I see as a loophole, and I'd like to see how, number one, I'd like to know if we're compelled to adopt that language in particular, and secondly, what the implications would be, if that's the case. Are we going to incur any costs? If we are going to incur costs, where would that come from? State, federal grants, what's available out there? So there's a lot to research yet before there's an actual proposal. But again, I do have to get in contact with my counterparts in Lowell as well to see how that's working for them.
So how do you want to proceed?
Well, at this point, like I said, I wanted to give you this as an informational because I have even some of colleagues in the council asking me, well, what does that look like? What is this supposed to be? And what I'd like to do is just to take a look at what the language is, what it allows us to do, and I want to clarify those particular points and then submit it to all of you so that you can look at what our proposal in that regard is, and have it filtered through the city attorney's office and certainly through the council for its approval, amendment, revision, what have you.
Okay. So typically, we look at a proposal. Is this the proposal that you have? Are you submitting the City of Lowell's proposal and you're going to be tweaking it right now, which is fine? Is this the proposal that you're submitting for Lawrence with the tweaks that you're about to suggest to us?
Yes, with the reservation, and permission to be able to tweak it.
So why don't we start with this? So we have a comprehensive idea of what we're looking at here. Why don't you tell us what you're tweaking? Start off with that. And if you got to go into some, we could be here all night. It's pretty intense, but we'll scratch the surface. We'll dig a little bit, and we'll see where this goes. So what are you looking to tweak out of this proposed ordinance?
Well, if we look at the first page, Section 8, Section A as an alpha, the very last sentence on the first paragraph where it says, it basically says it's unlawful for them to camp, but it says, unless specifically authorized or during a period when shelter is unavailable. I do want to get very specific as to what that means, that shelter is unavailable. I know that there's plenty of availability here, but does that even include a refusal? Because, you know what I mean? That would not include a refusal as far as I'm concerned.
So that's a question. You're not looking to strike that. You just have a question regarding that.
I have a question with that.
Okay, so I want to put that in parentheses. That's a question, not a strike.
Correct.
And the other question I would add to that as well is clarity regarding the language, which is this. If it says unavailable, it didn't say unavailable where? Is it in Lawrence? Is it in Merrimack Valley? Is it X number of miles? Is it in the Commonwealth? So that's the question of what is unavailable. So that might be, if you're looking for a loophole on that side, that could be a loophole. If you're looking at loopholes, there's loopholes all over the place. So that would be a question that I would have. Okay, so that's a question. Go ahead. What else you got?
That's a great point, Councilor Plant. You also, Mr. Chairman, you also bring, that brings us as a beautiful segue to the second page, sections 5 and 6, which speak about, if you look at section 5, last sentence again, The City of Lowell says that emergency shelter space may be provided at a city-authorized location outside of the city. Again, what the radius is not outlined there. I'd like to speak to our counterparts there.
So that's a question, not a strikeout.
Yes.
Oh, got it. Okay, continue.
I only have a question as number 6. I want them to be very specific about what they mean when period of shelter is unavailable. But that is not necessarily as concerning as number 5 and the issues that you correctly raised with regards to radius.
Okay, what else?
And the very last, I'd like to know if I have a question with regards to section F. I believe it's in the 3rd page, section F. It has a provision in there relative to the storing of items not necessarily deemed disposable. And that would imply personal items. It does hold, the City of Lowell has agreed to store private property for a minimum of 30 days. I don't think that that's a requirement that we have to adopt. I'd like to know that with absolute certainty in order to strike it.
So you're looking to strike or looking to question?
I'm looking to strike that.
So let's strike that. So the language that says all personal property, starting with that, or are you looking at that whole clause?
Well, just that, where they state personal property, and that is property that is not deemed discardable. And I understand it's overbroad, but I would assume that they mean items of very personal.
So it's very simple, so I'm going to interrupt, and I mean to. All personal property removed from a campsite which is not disposed of or held as evidence shall be stored by the Lowell Police Department for a minimum of 30 days, during which time it shall be made reasonably available for and released to an individual confirming ownership. That's the clause you want struck out?
I'd like to strike that.
All right, we're going to do that just as, now we know where you are on this. This is your proposal, right? So
Correct.
I want to make sure we got your proposal. Got
Yes.
it. Okay,
And that is it.
that's it. I think what would be helpful right now, I just think that we should have I don't need this to be long. We all live in the city. We all know, we see homeless. All of us know what that means, right? But if you can just kind of give us a very broad summary as to why we have this here and what this is going, if we pass something like this, what is it going to do? What's the end result? And then we can go into a little bit more into the questions regarding the details of how you're going to do what your goal is by this ordinance proposal. Go ahead.
Excellent. Okay, so I can compose it, or I can briefly tell you. The objective of this ordinance is basically to give us more leverage as far as enforcement and in order to also facilitate dismantling the removal of these particular encampment sites. And that is it. This doesn't necessarily mean that we're automatically going to enter into any type of arrest action. There will be also due notice that's required prior to any such action, but it gives us that lawful leverage to be able to move the encampments along, as opposed to we clear an encampment, as we move along through the other encampments throughout the city, we got to come back and there's reestablished. At this point, once we clear an encampment, we can return now. This ordinance is in place. Now, we can bounce around from place to place and essentially just enforce the ordinance as outlined.
Okay. Let's, if it's okay, I'm just going to continue with the general questioning, and then we can all have a chance to speak a few questions we have them later. What are the tools behind this that's going to be able to provide what you're saying there? What are the tools? I know we got the establishment, the function, the purpose, which is A. You define the terms. Go into where the meat of this is as far as how that's going to impact and achieve the goals you just mentioned.
Well, again, so the ordinance of this particular sample would allow us the opportunity to effect arrests for those that do not comply with the ordinance. There is going to be a pre-notice provision that's included in this.
Say it again, what kind?
There is a pre-notice provision. That means we'll give you a notice to say, hey, Mr. Smith, there's no camping here. Ordinance number 12345 indicates that you have to move here. If we come back here within 4 hours by tomorrow and you're still here, you face arrest. We find it gives some teeth to the move along practice that we've been practicing at this time right now. But moreover, it makes the place less inviting, it makes the city less inviting if others that are migrating from other communities know that we have similar ordinances in the cities that they're leaving for this particular reason. We have city ordinances, Mr. Chairman, that have to do with public drinking and other violations that we can effect arrests on. We don't necessarily do it under all circumstances. There is discretion. But we would like at least the lawful authority to be able to, for those that refuse or for those that disobey or the ordinance and the spirit and objective of the ordinance, to give us the lawful authority to say, well, at this point now, we are going to try another route, which is to effect an arrest, as other communities do.
How long does Lowell have this ordinance?
I don't believe that it's been very long. I don't know the date by which they, let me see, maybe the last page.
And I'll tell you why I'm asking that, why you're looking for it. Did you find it yet?
No, it's not in this particular
So
sample.
the reason why I'm asking is that what is fantastic is Lowell's doing this. What's not so fantastic is we're behind the eight ball. But what's good about this, the positive, is that we're going to get to see how successful it is. What did they get right? What did they get wrong? And if we can learn some lessons, however many weeks or months that they've had that will provide us a guide, a pathway to avoid those things. So we can either tighten it or loosen or based on what their experience is. So if you have a contact over in Lowell, I would strongly encourage and ask if you could have that kind of conversation, see where they are, and maybe too soon, but maybe they've got some initial reactions as to what they thought might be a little bit better if they had the chance. Does that make sense?
That makes absolute
Okay.
sense, yes.
There's a lot here, so I'm going to step back for a second and allow my colleagues to ask questions or comment.
Yeah, through you, but
Council Del Rosario.
through you, Chair. Going back to page 2 with the section 5 and 6 is what I would like to see also when you find out is is there shelter available? Where is it available? Are we transporting them? Also, is that what's happening to them? Why they bring them here? So we love to see what establishes that we are responsible to. There's an availability in Chelsea, right? Are we responsible to bring them to Chelsea so they don't camp here? So that's also will be good to know.
Lowell's ordinance includes transportation. Now, our experience has been that very few individuals opt for transportation, request transportation. They'll typically just move along, but that does include that. And again, I think that Mr. Chairman brought up a good point in regards to getting in contact with our counterparts over in Lowell, which is our intent, obviously, to see how effective that has been. Again, our objective is not to bring any more costs to the city, and not to adopt any more liability to the city. What we'd like to do is adopt what actually works in other communities, tailor it so that it works for our community and the particular idiosyncrasies of our community, and proceed from there. But yeah, it's all relatively new. What I didn't want us to do is to be behind the eight ball, where now we are, a light year away from what our surrounding communities are doing. It seems that this particular ordinance has not only been accepted, but has survived legal muster as written, as proposed here, with the exceptions of the one or two tweaks that I'd like to make, and the striking of a certain paragraph. I think that, if adopted and approved, I think that, at that point, we're working from a position of advancement. We could always scale back, but it's kind of harder to get moving forward, you know what I mean? So.
Thank you, Chair.
I also want to acknowledge that we do have our homeless coordinator here. Ms. Frazier is here. Ms. Frazier, would you care to, before we go any further on this, just to on this document that we have here, are there any comments that you have that would help us make a better decision?
Hello, guys. Kelly Frazier, homeless coordinator for the city of Lawrence. I have met with Lieutenant Fleming and Captain Aguilar. I agree with the no tent law in the city as being, they can't set up tents in our public places. I am 100% agreeing with that. What I'm kind of confused on is the resources that we're moving forward to get them. So say, for instance, we go and they say, okay, no tent law, right? Now we find someone that's on our public property with the tents. We have to come together as a community with our outgoing resources that we have to work on something that, okay, instead of saying, okay, now you have to stay in the cold, what are we going to do to offer them resources? When I spoke to the captain and lieutenant today, we're working with our outside resources. There is a shelter. I know, Councilor Gregory, you mentioned something about shelter in Lowell. Did I?
Reading through this, they said when a shelter is available and transportation, I don't know, so that's what I want to find out.
Yeah, so it is. There is a shelter, I don't know if you guys are aware, there is a shelter on Middlesex Street in Lowell. They have a bigger shelter than what we do here. So right now, due to winter protocol, if they're there by 6 o'clock, winter protocol, they're taking people in. So what we've been doing is if we come across a homeless person that doesn't have income and I can't help them with the resources we have to get them in somewhere, we are referring them to the shelter. Our shelter can only hold 32 people. At the current moment, they have about 50-something. So they are trying to help us as well, but we don't have a bigger shelter to help. So when it comes to the no tent law, I am agreeing with them because what we're finding is tents in our kids' parks. We're finding we're finding that they're setting up tents in the parks, local parks, and then like where the kids have their playgrounds. Am I saying that right? Playground. Like for instance, on Holly and Daisy Street, that's a playground. I had to watch kids that couldn't go play in the playground because they had tents in there. So I am agreeing that we do pass the no tent law in the city of Lawrence, as long as we come together and have resources to help them to go somewhere else. Did I answer?
You did. It was up to you how you wanted to answer, so that's fine. If that's what you want us to
Yes.
hear. We're good with that. Are there any other of my colleagues who wish to ask questions or speak on this matter? No? Okay. This is one of those items we could spend the entire night on, and we could probably do the same thing at a public hearing at the full council level. Tell me a little bit about timing. How quickly, obviously, how important is that we move on this as opposed to taking more time studying, getting more information, for example? I'm just trying to get a perspective from you as to the pace that we should have based on getting this thing right or more improved or trying to get something done before somebody else gets done. So tell me about timing.
I think, Mr. Chairman, that the winter right now is buying us some time. I think that a lot of the activities of which we are concerned with right now tend historically and traditionally to kind of slow down a little bit during this period of time. So we have a little bit of time. I always want to move a little bit slower, particularly with these type of things, in order that we get it right, in order that we tailor it to exactly what we need and to get it right. There is no particular rush to get it through at this time. There are some things that I'd like to speak to my counterparts about, as I stated. So time would be helpful. I do not think we have the type of time that would lend itself to, let's say, as spring starts to approach, type of time. At that particular time, there is a natural migration to find a place to kind of set up camp for those that are displaced. And at that point, those that come from areas that are already in place, enforcing the ordinance, it's just naturally going to kind of push them this way. And that's, so the long and short of it is, if we can act within the next 2 months or so, get it studied, get it in, get it considered, bring it to your review, have it amended, approved, what have you, then at that point, and give you the information that you need. Good question. What is Lowell saying? What's working for them? We can get you that information. Okay. Get you that, and then we can say, but I want to have something, at least plant the seed, so when the time comes, we can pull the trigger.
No, I appreciate that. And I think you've kind of given us, or at least me, an idea of where we should be going with this as far as timing, so that's helpful. One other thought that I have, where you've defined city property on page 2, I think, number 4, which is property, parks, rights-of-way, parking lots, easements, or other land owned, leased, or controlled, or managed by, in this particular case, the city of Lowell, or in our case, the city of Lawrence, obviously. So when we talk about parks, if there was a Boy Scout troop that wanted to camp out on any of our parks, they would have to come before the city council, because in our ordinances, we have direct jurisdiction over the approval of groups or entities or individuals for the use of our parks. Your city property goes beyond parks, but I was listening to what Ms. Frazier was saying with that one example, and then part of me is thinking, well, don't we already have the ability right now? If someone is using our parks without the proper permission, and maybe we need to tweak that, but we might be able to fast track that portion of it, not the easements, not the other places. That's more complicated. I don't think we have that jurisdiction, but I know we've got a jurisdiction on parks. As you're listening, as you were speaking, I was thinking of that. Can you give me kind of a reaction to that?
Well, as this provision, and again, I know that you did not have, in all fairness, you didn't have an opportunity to review it. I did bring a copy of it this evening. I think that at this point, their particular ordinance, and I think that it runs parallel to our ordinances with regards to just obtaining permission. From whom, obviously, the council decides who would be the agent or authorized individual to provide such authorization, and what the requirement would be. Would it be, just a letter, hey, Troop F would like to camp out at the Common and do a reenactment, what have you? We can certainly do that, but.
You already have that in the books right now. So
Right.
my point is this: if you were, let's play this thing out. If you were a scout troop, you would want to use the Campagnon Common. You would then go and you would go to Citizen Surf. You would fill out the form. You would put it on the council agenda. We would then have it here before the committee. We would then look at it. We would then either recommend it to the full council, and the full council would take a vote on it. We would give a permit. We would give a permit to allow someone to do that. I'm using that rubric, that paradigm, that process. In the same way, this is not a very difficult thing to conceive of here, which is this. If you had that same requirement for anybody who wishes to use our parks as a camp, for whatever the reasons are, why are we distinguishing? You would have to come before the council. Now, we can all surmise as to how organized are the individuals. I think are they going to come before the council? And if they don't, they're unpermitted, which gives you the right immediately to be able to, they don't have the permits, they can't be on the common. It's very simple.
Correct.
Very simple, right? So my question here is, and I'm spitballing a little bit here. There's probably parts of this I haven't thought all the way through, to be candid. I'm just thinking of it right now. But why can't, I'm extracting that from this. There's at least one section that maybe we have jurisdiction over. It's the rest that we don't. This still needs to be done because it's by the railroad tracks. It's under the bridges. There's a lot of other places where this is happening. There are public places, right? That's the issue. But in this one small sphere, we may not need to wait as long. That's my point. So I just want to know if you got a thought on that.
Well, I think that, and this particular Lowell's ordinance states, and Section C camping regulations, that unless specifically authorized by the city manager, certainly we have to have an equivalent to that. But I think that the short of it, if I understand your point correctly, I think that reason dictates here. I don't think that any police officer, again, this is a tool, simply a tool of enforcement, just another tool in our belt to try to achieve the ultimate objective, which is to keep areas of the city in which our children play and our residents, free from disease, human trafficking, drug trafficking, gang activity and the like. So, and I think in that regard, those that are going to be enforcing this particular ordinance, which would be the Lawrence Police Department in this particular case, would have to use reason and rationale in that, even given this example, they come across Troop F, they know for certain that this isn't a vagrancy encampment or something to that effect. At that point, I think that a simple phone call or something to that effect.
Sure.
But it certainly doesn't exempt anyone from utilizing the very same policies, procedures, processes that they take to, to have something at a camp, whether it's a church, whether it's Troop F, whether it's whatever it is, it's the same process for everyone, I would assume. But again, with regards to the enforcement aspect of it, I think that it's just reason dictates how we approach on that.
So why don't we do this? I'm going to park this. I got my idea out. I don't think this is going to move tonight. I think you're going to get some answers. We're going to come back. So let's give that some more thought. We can talk about that more if we need to, you and I. But I want to make sure that all my colleagues have a chance to ask questions or comments, should they want to right now. It'll be back. I think hopefully we'll table it, so the conversation will stick around. We're not going anywhere with it. But is there anything else tonight that any of my colleagues wish to speak on? No? Nope? Okay. I'm looking for, we're just going to table it here. I'm looking for a motion to table this item.
Motion to table.
Second.
Motion made by Councilor Del Rosario to table, properly seconded by Councilor Santiago. Seeing that there's no discussion, I will ask the clerk to please call the roll.
Council Del Rosario,
Yes.
Councilor Santiago,
Yes.
Councilor Reyes,
Yes.
Chair LaPlante.
Yes. Thank you, Ms. Frazier. Thank you, gentlemen, Lieutenant, Captain. We appreciate your attendance this evening. And you'll let us know when it's time to take this off the table when you get the information, right?
Absolutely.
Perfect. Got it. All right.
May I have a moment to get some information on Ms. Frazier, her telephone number?
Sure, that's fine. That'll give me a chance to look for something. Just to let you know, the next document will be coming up is 57224. That's going to convert Lennox Street to a one-way. If there's no objection, I'm going to be taking document number 57224 out of order. There's no objection. Seeing none. I also, before we listen to Mr. Laird, I received an email yesterday from Vice President Infante. I would like to have the item 57224 convert Lennox Street to one-way withdrawn. I misunderstood my constituents of that area. They are more concerned about the Brookfield Street with Lennox Street intersection. I reached out to DPW and will submit an agenda item related to this meeting with DPW. Thank you, Councilor Infante.
So it's withdrawn?
Well, not yet. We're going to have to take some action, but that was the recommendation. And typically, this committee typically leans on the proposal in the district that's in, and she's asking for it to be withdrawn, which I think is what you're looking for. Am I right?
Yes.
So we can all go home tonight knowing that's probably going to happen, although if we make that motion this evening, we have one more step, as you know, at the full council. But it's highly unlikely that will change. Of course it could, but we can make a motion to withdraw at this level.
Item 57224, motion to send to the full council with intention to withdraw.
Motion's
Second.
been made by Council Del Rosario, seconded by Councilor Santiago. This is to a motion to withdraw. Is there any discussion? Seeing no discussion, clerk, please call the roll.
Councilor Reyes,
Yes.
Councilor Del Gregorio,
Yes.
Councilor Santiago,
Yes.
Chair LaPlante.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Have a good night, Council.
Thank you so much, officer. Appreciate it. I don't think there's anybody else here on any other matters. Just on Hamlet Street. On which street? Hamlet. Sure. Do we see that on the agenda? Do we know what number that is?
It was on the same committee from last week, but you guys tabled it on this agenda.
Okay, I'm looking.
Second page, 55924.
55924. I think it was requested by Vice President Infante for us to table it here, so I think the council took that, this committee took their cues and took that, I think we tabled it because of that, but I will check again. Hold on, Hamlet Street.
So the recording meeting, just so you guys know, it cut off before you guys even got to those type of agendas. It went to a whole separate meeting.
Hamlet. That's 559, correct? 559. Not finding it very quickly, but I'm pretty confident that when we had our last ordinance committee meeting, the Vice President Infante was here for all her items, and we took exactly her recommendation it was, and so I'm pretty confident that if she asked us to table it, we did, and that's why it's tabled here, so it hasn't moved at all. You can come on up. If there's no objection, we're going to take document 55924 out of the table matters.
Motion to untable.
Second.
Okay, we don't need to do that, but we can. Motion is made and properly second. Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilor Reyes?
Yes.
Councilor Del Gregorio?
Yes.
Councilor Santiago?
Yes.
Chair LaPlante?
Yes. Okay, where motion is off the table. Go ahead. Name and address, please.
Sure, Kelly Staniszewski, 47 Hamlet Street, Lawrence, Mass. Because the meeting was cut off when Stephanie or Ms. Infante was discussing it, I was only listening to see why they wanted it to make it. So if you guys have a packet on that or something of why they're requesting it to be the full street, it would be great, because I wasn't able to hear her, why she wanted Lennox Street, a one-way, why she wanted Hamlet Street a full school zone. So the audience or whoever's, listening to it, we don't know why that's happening. So if there was, sometimes there's different things that are sent to you guys. Is there anything like that?
I'm looking for it right now. I'm not seeing anything, except to say the only thing that my memory recalls is that we went through all of these items with the Vice President Infante, and she must have asked us to table it for reasons we don't know. We didn't ask why she wanted to table it. It was an item that she put on the agenda. So if she put it on the agenda as a courtesy to her, if she wants to table so she can do whatever she's looking to do, maybe she wants to talk to more people, or it could be a number of different reasons why she'd asked to table it. We just tabled it. So I can't give you any more information on it. We're not moving it this evening. It's going to stay here. So I'm sorry that's not satisfactory.
No,
She's
no,
not
no,
here to answer the question, so I can't help you.
No, that's fine, but she was cut off, and I believe she was not at the meeting, so you guys were waiting for her to arrive or come.
That's right.
And then the meeting went blank, and then I never heard another
Sure.
word, so.
So what happened was is that we did table a lot of things, then she did arrive, and then we untabled these items and had a conversation. And so that's where, what you didn't see was that she was actually present, and then we went through the items.
Did she speak on this at all?
On this, no, she probably said to us, this is on my memory, of course, we called the document up, and she said, I'm asking the committee to table this item. And it's as simple as that, and we just tabled it. We didn't say, why do you want it tabled? We didn't ask. This is her item. She wants it tabled. We can only think that she wants more information or do something else, so the committee's usually pretty good with that.
Okay, thank you, I appreciate it.
You're welcome. Okay, so I think that's it for folks that are here. Let's go to the top. 571. Oh, what's that? Yeah, we want to make a motion to table this item.
Motion to table item 559.
Second.
Motion to table document 55924 has been made by Councilor Santiago, seconded by Councilor Del Rosario. Clerk, please call the roll. Clerk, please call the roll on the motion to table.
Councilor Reyes?
Yes.
Councilor Santiago?
Yes.
Council Del Rosario,
Yes.
Councilor Chair LaPlante.
Yes. Okay, now we're going to the very top of the agenda. It's 571. No overnight tractor trailer parking on South Broadway. Again, there is no memo on this. There's not much background information on this. Counselors, we look for a little bit more than this usually, so we can send it, I guess we send it to the police department for their review, but there's just not much here. But I'll leave it to the committee as to what they want to do. I mean, so just so we know, I think that it's, you may have saw what the council president did. He provided this evening a background, substantive information, and that's good. And I applaud him for doing that, because we haven't been doing that. But we need to do that more, and there's been a lapse. So all of us, me included, need to do more of the stuff in front. This is another example of that. Now, we really, I mean, we don't know why this wants to do it. I mean, we can all guess why. But we should, our rules actually say that we should be providing information. So it's up to you. Do you want to send this to the police department for their review, even though there's not much here? Do we want to table it and ask the counselor for more information? Any motion?
Motion to send to the police department for review, 57124.
Second.
Motion made to send to the police department for review by Councilor Del Rosario, seconded by Councilor Santiago. Discussion? Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilor Reyes,
Yes.
Councilor Santiago,
Yes.
Councilor Del Rosario,
Yes.
Chair LaPlante.
Yes. Motion is sent to the police department for their review. Next item is 57324, stop sign at High Street at Highlawn Avenue. Why is this? That's kind of weird. No, wait a second. Sorry, 573. This is your item, Counselor. Go right ahead.
The discussion that I have is this is really narrow and they go too fast, and many accidents occur in the last 2 months. We have an accident, and residents report me why we can stop the accident or the speeding over there, and that's why I want to send to the police department to send to put a stop sign there.
Is that the motion?
Yeah.
There is the motion properly
Second.
made, seconded by Councilor Del Rosario. Discussion. See no discussion. Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilor Reyes,
Yes.
Councilor Santiago,
Yes.
Councilor Del Rosario,
Yes.
and Chair LaPlante.
Yes. I know, well, she's working on it. God bless her. The next document is document 57424, and this is from our colleague, Councilor Luzon. Amend zoning on Jackson Street from R2 to B1. Chair Reyes, are you still with us?
Yes.
So I need some technical advice on this. So when we do a zoning change, something in my brain tells me that we oftentimes work with the planning board on a zoning change, and it's been a while since I've last did that. Does that sound familiar at all to you, or do we just deal with it here without going to planning?
Yes, if we working with something through the zoning, normally we asking them to join with us to this conversation to have more clarification about the topic.
Why don't we do this? If it's okay, I can make a quick phone call, but I need to make a motion to quickly recess to do that. Is there a motion to recess?
Motion to recess.
Motion made by Councilor Santiago, seconded by Councilor Del Rosario. Any discussion? Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilor Reyes,
Yes.
Councilor Del Rosario,
Yes.
Councilor Santiago.
Yes.
Chair LaPlante.
Yes. We're in a very brief recess. Roll call. Let's come out of recess.
Counselor Del Rosario,
Yes.
Counselor Santiago,
Yes.
Counselor Reyes.
Yes.
There we go.
Okay.
Now we
Chair
heard you.
LaPlante.
And yes. So on this document, which is the 574, we should table that item here. It's already been sent to the planning board for their review. So Council Vice Chair, you're correct. Again, no, I knew you were going to be right on this. And so it's there. So we should table it here and wait for their recommendation before we take a vote on it. So
Motion to table?
motion made by Councilor Del
Second.
Rosario, seconded by Councilor Santiago. Del Rosario, Santiago, discussion? No discussion. Clerk, please call the roll. You know, just for, can we just amend it to say that, I know it's there, but it looks better if we just do it,
Sure, amend the motion. Motion to send it to the planning board.
and then table.
And table it after that.
Motion to send it to the planning board and then table, it's been made and is properly seconded by Councilor Santiago. No discussion. Clerk, please call the roll.
Counselor Reyes,
Yes.
Counselor Del Rosario,
Yes.
Counselor Santiago,
Yes.
Chair LaPlante.
Yes, motion carries. Next item is 575-24 handicap parking, 128 Hancock Street. Looking to send that to the police department for their review. Is there a motion?
So move.
Second.
Motion made by Councilor Del Rosario, seconded by Councilor Santiago. Discussion? See no discussion. Clerk, please call the roll.
Counselor Reyes,
Yes.
Counselor Del Rosario,
Yes.
Counselor Santiago,
Yes.
Chair LaPlante.
Okay, the next document is document 577-24. Let the record note, please write this in the minutes, please, Pat, Ms. Waters, please write in the minutes that Councilor Del Rosario is recusing himself from the next vote and from the discussion. If there's 577-24, remove handicap parking at 80 Trenton Street. Let me see here. Looking for a motion to send this to, let me see, hold on for one second, we may not need that. 5, is anybody, 77, hold on. You have it? Right. So let's just send this up to the full council to order a public hearing, because we already have we have a letter from Ms. Del Rosario suggesting that, anyway, person.
So moved.
Motion made to send to the full council to order a public hearing. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Vice Chair Reyes. Discussion? See no discussion. Clerk, please call the roll.
Counselor Reyes,
Yes.
Santiago,
Yes.
Chair LaPlante,
Go for Councilor Del Rosario,
Counselor Del Rosario.
who is recused from this vote. Yes. He's recused. You go back. Go back. He's recused from this vote, and now, go ahead, now me.
Chair LaPlante.
Yes, please write in the notes that Councilor Del Rosario is recused. He did not vote on this matter. Okay, Councilor Del Rosario, you're welcome to come back. All right, that is it for our new business for today. Our, we've got, is there any other members who wish to have items? Councilor Santiago.
Yes. I want to put it on table to check some update about item 43024. It is Council Luzon sent me to request.
Thank you. Let me see something here.
43024. Yes.
Motion, if there's no objection, let's take document 43024 out of old business. Seeing no objection, go ahead, Counselor.
They are expecting for somebody give you the answer. The item was so long and they expecting for, they don't have any answer about it. That's why they request the update.
Okay. So what's your motion, Counselor? What number is it, 430 you said?
43027. 24, childcare parking.
So do you want to, so is there a motion then to send this document back to Officer Cano asking for an update and ISD? I don't think we received anything on those documents, have we? And we're in December, so that was 2 or 3 months ago, right? We received nothing. There's a motion to send document 43024 requesting Officer Cano and ISD for an update. Is there a second to that motion?
Second.
Motion seconded by Councilor Del Rosario. Made by Santiago, seconded by Del Rosario. Discussion?
Yes, discussion.
Go ahead, Counselor.
I was talking with with Officer Cano, and he was telling me he's not doing this work. Somebody is on Neymar. I don't know. He told me somebody else is doing.
Through you, Chair.
Do you have any answers to that?
Yes, Council, Officer Cano has been removed for what it is, ordinance, or change from ordinance. Now he's in SID, ISD. So that's what
He's an ISD?
Yeah, so it's another officer, I don't remember the name, is the one doing and that. But those items, when they come to the police, regardless who does it, it usually take time to come back. But Cano is not actually the actual officer anymore for ordinance.
Send it to the police chief.
And I would like to send for the police department.
Police chief,
Or
maybe?
yes, police chief.
Okay, so a motion's been made, rather than to send it to Mr. Cano, amending it to send it to the police chief or his designee and to ISD. Right, to the police chief. To the chief. He's in charge. He'll figure out who to get it to. And to ISD, because that was part of the original. And asking for an update. That's it, so we gotta take a vote on it. Motion's been made and properly second. Discussion? See no discussion. Ms. Waters, please call the roll.
Councilor Reyes,
Yes.
Councilor Del Rosario,
Yes.
Councilor Santiago,
Yes.
Chair LaPlante.
Yes. What's your other item, Counselor?
Behind. 43224.
Okay.
Resident, 43224, resident parking, Lincoln Court.
Okay.
It is,
Go ahead. If there's no objection, we'll take 43224 out of that new business, old business. Seeing no objections, go ahead, Counselor.
that item is the same submitted by Councilor Luzon, and she wanted the update and to send the same motion like the last one, to send to the chief.
Okay.
And
For an update.
for update.
Motion been made by Counselor Santiago to send this
Second.
document for the chief for an update. It's been properly seconded by Counselor Del Rosario. Discussion. See no discussion, clerk, please call the roll. 43324.
432.
I'm sorry.
432.
That was my bad. Don't pay attention to me. 43224, that's right. 43224. Police Department, we need to call the roll on that, Ms. Waters.
Councilor Reyes,
Yes.
Councilor Del Rosario,
Yes.
Councilor Santiago.
Yes.
And Chair LaPlante.
Yes. Anything else?
I have 3 more.
Oh, okay, you're on a roll. Go for it. What do you got?
The other one is 1824, that's the one-way Orchard Street. Resident, it is by Councilor Reyes, and the resident required an update as well. Councilor Luzon asked me to
What
update.
was the number again? 18? I see it. I see it. 1824. Correct. It's one way on Orchard Street. And this is Counselor Vice Chair Reyes. This is your item, Counselor Vice Chair Reyes.
Councilor Luzon and I received some updated from city engineer, and they say the one-way was not approved because they are planning to presenting a new project for the city.
Oh, they're gonna do a comprehensive one-ways? I think that there's a bunch of one-ways we're looking at, right? Is that what they're doing? Okay. So I'm not sure what you want to do at this point.
Councilor Luzon told me just to request the update for this street.
So we could do that. There's an update, which that's probably gonna be the update. But that would be the update. All right, we can certainly do that if the committee wants.
Through you, Mr. President Chair,
Yes.
you can send the request to the city engineer, but Councilor Luzon and I already received an update that they denied to convert the Orchard Street in one way. But
Sounds
we
like
can
a-
send the memo for they sending in writing.
It's all right. I said, I agree with that, just I am telling the message.
All right, so the message is that apparently the vice chair is on top of this, understands what's going on, has received the information, so I think that is the update. I think we just got it. The update is we're waiting for the one-way street packet to come down from the city engineer, so we're more informed than we were about 10 minutes ago, so that's a good thing. So maybe we don't need to have a motion on this. Let's just leave it there. We'll leave it there. Okay, what's your next one, Council? Was there a motion made on that? Did we make a motion on that? No, we didn't? Okay.
Can you find the 325?
325-24?
Yeah.
I have it. It's on page 4, 15-minute parking at 294 Prospect Street.
Oh, yes. The 524, 50-minute parking, it was so long, I thought we cannot.
325-24. 325-24. Go ahead.
I spoke with Officer Cano about it, and that's the answer he told me as well. He doesn't charge to do that, and I would like to send for the chief and someone.
So there's a motion to police chief for an update on document 325-24. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion seconded by Councilor Del Rosario. Motion made by Santiago, seconded by Del Rosario. Discussion? And by the way, I'm saying this several times, so you don't think that I'm kind of losing my head. I'm trying to give our recording secretary a chance to write all this down. If I go too fast, it gets a little confusing, so we're all set. All right, so the motion made and properly second. Seeing no discussion, clerk, please call the roll.
Councilor Reyes,
Yes,
Councilor Del Rosario,
Yes.
Councilor Santiago,
Yes.
Chair LaPlante.
Yes.
Okay.
Is there anything else, Counselor?
And my last one is 42624, a stop sign for four-way stop East Pleasant Street intersection with Colby Street. There is a school zone over there, and the constituent required about stop sign. They wanna reduce the speed over there, and we wanna send for the police department.
Sure, so it's just so Ms. Waters has, this is 32624? 32624. Go ahead, Councilor Santiago. You want to send this to the police chief for his, an update on this item?
Yes.
Motion made. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilor Del Rosario. Discussion? Seeing no discussion, I'll ask the clerk to please call the roll.
Councilor Reyes,
yes,
Councilor Del Rosario,
Yes.
Councilor Santiago.
Yes.
Chair
Yes. Is there anybody else who wishes, I have an item that I want to take out order as well. If there's no objection, I'd like to take my own document out, which is 49624. This is a speed limit pilot project act. What I would like to do with this, I know that there's talk about doing something citywide. I had a chance to listen to all of my colleagues that evening. Everybody wants to do something. And I have also had a chance to talk to some of our constituents as well. I'm going to based on a lot of those factors, I'm thinking about withdrawing that item and working on just doing it throughout the city. And hopefully, we as a group can decide which streets would be the proper streets to have them done. So I believe that this is tabled at the ordinance, at the full council level. I don't, it's one of those things where it's citywide, so I'm not thrilled with the entire city. Like, for example, South Union Street in my district, Winthrop Ave, there are some streets that it would be, you want to keep it at 30 miles an hour, but there are some residential streets you want it at 25. That makes sense. But our larger streets where there's more, you may want to have it, to keep it where it is. But anyway, I'm going to look for a motion, this might sound strange, to withdraw document 49624 for listening to all of my comments.
So moved.
Motion made, is there a second?
Second.
Motion made by Councilor Santiago, seconded by Councilor Del Rosario to withdraw.
For number 496.
Correct. Any discussion? See no discussion, clerk, please call the roll.
Councilor Reyes?
Yes.
Okay, Councilor Santiago?
Yes.
Councilor Del Rosario?
Yes.
Yes. Anything else? Seeing none, I'm looking for a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Would you withdraw that motion? One more thing, we have the November 26 minutes, I just saw this right here. Is that motion withdrawn? Withdraw the motion? Motion withdrawn?
motion
I just
withdrawn.
wanted to get this ordinance, I'm seeing it right now. We have minutes for November 26, 24, I'm looking for a motion to adopt the minutes.
Motion to adopt the minutes?
Second.
Motion made by Councilor Del Rosario, seconded by Councilor Santiago. Discussion? Seeing none, clerk, please call the roll. Motion to accept the minutes.
Councilor Reyes?
Yes.
Councilor Del Rosario?
Yes.
Councilor Santiago?
Yes.
Chair LaPlante?
Yes, motion carries. Now I'm looking for a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion made by Councilor Santiago, seconded by Councilor Del Rosario. Discussion? Seeing none, clerk, please call the roll.
Councilor Reyes?
Yes.
Councilor Del Rosario?
Yes.
Councilor Santiago?
Yes.
Chair LaPlante?
Yes. Motion carries. We are adjourned. Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Good night, Council Vice Chair.